Welcome to Beyond the Screen. I'm Nate. These are the top 10 celebrities who got blacklisted from talk shows. Number 10, Hugh Grant. Hugh may be known for being a rom-com sweetheart, but there is a ton of evidence that proves that this guy is a massive jerk. Case in point, Hugh Grant's banned from Jon Stewart's very own late night show. Grant made an appearance on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart in 2009 that did not go very well. According to Jon, Hugh wanted nothing to do with the interview, being annoyed from start to finish. He had apparently been giving the crew a hard time because food wasn't the way he liked it, his dressing room wasn't right. During the interview, Hugh actually complained about the clip that the producers had chosen to show on air, saying it was a bad clip, to which Jon said, well, make a better movie then. The interview was so bad that I actually could not find a clip of it online. It's like Hugh paid the internet to hide the clip somewhere in the cloud. So if you end up finding it, please share it in the comments. I would really love to see it. Hugh was banned from appearing on Jon's show ever again, something he was not aware of until 2012, posting a tweet claiming Jon had every right to kick him to the curb. Number 9, Vince Vaughn. It started in 2010 when Vaughn raised some eyebrows following the release of the trailer for his movie The Dilemma, when his character made some controversial comments. Electric cars are gay is something that Vince Vaughn actually says. Not that they're like homo, I don't know, he says a lot of stuff, I don't feel like quoting it, it's pretty rough. The actor uttered a lot of really just nasty things about gay people during the previews for the film, and as a gay woman and icon for the LGBTQ community, one might imagine that remark didn't sit well with Ellen DeGeneres. Although measures were taken to remove this line from the trailer, Vince doubled down on his views, claiming that the preview should just be left alone, there was nothing wrong with it, defending the line as a joke that should not have been taken seriously. Following the comments, it was reported that he was banned from Ellen's show indefinitely. The rumors took over the internet, and Vince had little to say about the ban because it was never actually a real ban. It turns out the only reason that Vaughn stopped coming onto the show was because he had nothing to promote until 2016 when he made his return to the talk show. But that does mean that for 6 years Vince Vaughn was not getting a ton of film roles, he wasn't asked to make a lot of TV appearances, and even if he did, it was in a small capacity. Eventually, the so-called ban was lifted, and Vince revealed that there was no hate between himself and Ellen. Unfortunately, Ellen did not speak much to the rumored ban, so for 6 years the world thought that he was just an outcast. Number 8, Dax Shepard. Dax is a wonderful comedian and writer, being behind some awesome movies from the past few years. Schlocky classics like Idiocracy, Employee of the Month, and the buddy comedy Without a Paddle alongside Seth Green and Matthew Lillard. While doing promotion for that movie in 2004, Dax was invited onto The Late Night Show with Conan O'Brien. So he starts off the interview by falling over a table and knocking just a bunch of water onto Conan's floor. Great first impression. Conan then attempts to get some stories out of Dax related to the project or himself, but he instead opts to make jokes, tell Conan about a motorcycle accident he had, and improvising the DVD extras on Conan's special. If it weren't for Conan's yes and attitude, this interview would have ended in disaster. Conan later revealed that Dax had received a lifetime ban from his show, mainly due to the fact that Dax had just woken up 20 minutes before the interview had even started, after drinking no juice to the point of blacking out, which would probably explain why he's so groggy throughout like most of the interview. This ban was eventually lifted after Dax put his partying days behind him, being clean and sober now for roughly 16 years. Number 7, Madonna. Piers Morgan is a terrible man, period. He has made some racially fueled comments over the years that were so bad he eventually got kicked off of CNN, but not before he issued a public ban to pop icon Madonna. Apparently the entire feud between these two stems from an incident involving bread rolls. I guess Piers was accidentally hit by a roll that Madonna threw or something, I don't know, the full story was never actually revealed in that case. But it can't just be a bread roll, because this man spent 20 years talking trash about Madonna, calling her names that I cannot repeat online. He was always trying to egg her on, telling her managers to stop tweeting him. Well, the joke is on Piers in this situation. Not only did his show eventually get cancelled, but Rosie O'Donnell actually banned Piers from her show in retaliation. He'd visited Rosie before, in fact, her show received almost double his views at the time, but he'd never be able to leech off of her again, making this entry a double whammy. Number 6, Howard Stern. Howard Stern may have been one of the best talk show guests in the 90s and the early 2000s. Now, while he's stellar when he actually allows someone to interview him, he particularly rocked it when he was at his most outrageous. This is because he would just kinda come out and take over. He appeared on many talk shows over the years, but there was never a rivalry quite like Stern versus Jay Leno. Apparently Jay didn't want to put out an edgy show, and Howard was just all edge. During one particular appearance on the show, Jay actually sat back and watched as a guest got into a fight with Howard and his longtime radio co-host Robin Quivers. This was not only the moment that Howard was banned for creating a scene, but it was also the moment that Howard vowed to despise Jay Leno for the rest of his life. The two never reconciled, and so far, it's looking like they never will. Number 5. Adrien Brody. Now, we're gonna throw Adrien in the middle because this is not a talk show, but this moment got him blacklisted from many shows. While hosting the late-night sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live, Brody went off script in truly cringe-inducing fashion. When he came on the stage to present the musical act Sean Paul, he appeared in cartoonish dreadlocks and a tank top, using the most offensive Jamaican accent you've ever heard in your life. He was trying something that just did not work. The clip of this moment is only a minute long, but it feels like a lifetime. He was hosting in 2003, and since that live performance went south, not only has he been banned from SNL, but he's had very limited appearances on talk shows over the years. While some may claim it's due to a lack of work, others agree that wearing faux dreads and doing that on live TV is something you can't live down. Number 4. Harmony Korine. Harmony's name may not be familiar to you, but one of his movies might be. In 2012, Harmony directed a film called Spring Breakers, starring James Franco, Selena Gomez, and Vanessa Hudgens, but he's been around since the early 90s. While doing some promotions for a film in the mid-90s, Harmony got himself into a lot of trouble. He was visiting David Letterman, who claims that he caught Harmony rummaging through Meryl Streep's purse in her dressing room. Around this time, he was well known for being addicted to several illegal substances, especially spicy spoon juice, so he was doing everything he could to get his next fix. According to David, he went upstairs to greet Meryl before the show and knocked on the door. Inside was not Meryl, but Harmony hunched over a purse in the corner rummaging like a raccoon. David told him to put everything back and to exit the building as soon as possible. A lifetime ban was issued and Korine was blacklisted by fellow studios. Since then, he has been able to get clean and sober, and David issued a statement congratulating him on his sobriety and lifting his ban. Number 3. Conan. Conan O'Brien has been the host of his own late-night television series since 1993, originally hosting Late Night with Conan O'Brien before moving to his own series in 2010 simply titled Conan. The show may be a success now, but it actually comes from a feud with Jay Leno and a ban that lasted right up till 2014. One of Conan's biggest competitors on the late-night scene was Jay Leno's Tonight Show. Both shows had strong ratings and had become staples in late-night history, so when it came time to negotiate a new contract with the bigwigs at NBC, they told Conan that he would be moved to host the primetime Tonight Show in 5 years, something that he was very excited about, but something that they did not tell Jay. After the 5 years were over and the year was 2009, the decision was made to move Conan to the Tonight Show and Jay would get his own talk show. Well, the viewer numbers declined dramatically, and it was obvious that this was not going to work. An argument took place between Conan and Leno, with both men fighting for their right to host. One show was going to have to go. Well, it was eventually decided that Conan and his crew would be given $45 million to go make their own show, while Leno returned to his desk. His triumphant return in 2010 was coupled with a lifetime ban from the show while he was still the host. He has since appeared to speak to current host Jimmy Fallon, but for a long time Conan was restricted to his own little studio. Number 2. Bobcat Goldthwait. Bobcat may not be much of an actor these days, but in the 80s and the 90s, this dude was dominating the film and comedy scene. His zany brand of over-the-top high-energy performance was well received by most people who saw him. In fact, he made Police Academy even better than they already were. In the mid-1990s, Bobcat's career was at its peak, meaning that he was making appearances left and right to promote projects, and one of those promotions was on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Bobcat is already a very chaotic man, but this stunt was the stuff of legends. At one point in the interview, Bobcat pulls out a can of lighter fluid, sprays it on his seat, and sets it on fire. The reason why he set it on fire was because he was attempting to make a joke with Leno and make a memorable talk show moment. Well, he certainly did. Leno didn't think it was funny at all. He actually made Bobcat sit in the mess after he puts out the fire. The studio charged Bobcat with recklessly causing a fire along with a misdemeanor. He was ordered to pay nearly $4,000 in fines and received 3 years of probation. As you may expect, he was blacklisted from ever appearing on that show so long as Jay Leno was the host. Number 1. Artie Lange. Comedian Artie Lange was a larger-than-life performer in the 90s and early 2000s. Now, Artie wasn't just a movie star, but he was also a co-host working with radio legend Howard Stern, who, we already talked about. Artie's career has been filled with controversy and negative news, as his long struggle with substance control issues has been very well documented. The ban comes from his longtime buddy Conan O'Brien, but it's not because of some big controversy. It was actually a move designed to encourage Artie to quit. Conan made it very clear that Artie would not be welcomed back as a guest until he was clean and sober. He had a rocky history when it came to talk shows, being intoxicated beyond belief for a majority of his TV spots. These days, Artie claims to be sober and has quit acting for good to focus on his mental health. And those are the celebrities who got blacklisted from talk shows. Did we miss any good ones? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thank you guys for checking out this video. Leave a like if you had fun. It really helps us here at the channel. Thank you for stopping me on the screen, and we'll see you next time.